We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle around to tend these vibes. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap seeds of change and life from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these vibes. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change and life from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Good morning. Welcome to All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church. We're excited to have you here this morning, to have our guest, Nida AbuBaker, who is coming at any time. And this should be a really good service. We're looking forward to it. Whoever you are, whatever your age, whatever your race, identity, orientation, faith path, if you care to be with us in community and to uphold the values of Unitarian Universalism, you are welcome. If you care to be with us in the peaceful community, you are welcome. We are a covenanted community. We are united not by a particular creed, as by covenant, which are the promises that we make to each other for the way that we'll be together and for the way that we will work together to make the world a better place. And we front load these services with just a few announcements, and I'll invite our board person of the day, Susan Yellett, to come up and share this with you.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for everyone for coming today. I'm Susan Yellett. Our volunteer of the month is Tina Hines. Tina is our awesome audio person and works with our tech team on all our services. She's also instrumental in our building and grounds. She is helping us try to find someone who wants to live in this building one day soon while we search for another place. So we just really love Tina. She comes and beats me at board games every month. So, right, and Domino's, chicken foot. She's the chicken foot queen. Anyway, our giveaway the plate this month is LCA, Louisiana Trans Advocates, which we provide a place here for them to meet every month and support our people who are LGBTQ, all those letters. But yeah, and that's about it for me this morning. We're really glad you're here, and we'll have a reception after the service. Thanks.
Oh, it's graduated to a reception. I've been calling it a gathering just to kind of, you know. It's a reception now. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I think Susan actually covered it all this morning, so I'm going to stop with the announcements and please join me in the spirit of worship. After the chime, we'll sing together, "Come, Come, Whoever You Are," and the words will be on the screen. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Speak it up a little bit. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Ours is no caravan of despair. Even when the events of the world or the events of the week threaten to pull us down to those depths. Instead, once again, we are called to worship. In the manner of the Old English roots of that word, to lift up those matters of worth that call us not only to action, not only to lift our voices in the call for justice, but to lift our voices in song, to lift our hearts in prayer, our meditation as our paths lead us, to remember that there is strength and hope and, yes, joy in our gathering together. Last week, our Unitarian Universalist General Assembly passed an action of immediate witness in solidarity with the Palestinian people in the quest for peace and freedom for all people throughout the region. And it begins with these words: "Our Unitarian Universalist faith draws on the moral imperative of radical love, and despite all odds, calls us to uphold a world where liberation is real and we all thrive. Let us together commit ourselves to that high calling." Would someone like to help me with the children's chalice lighting this morning? Elizabeth and Phoebe and Ava. Awesome. Oh, the shoes, Elizabeth, those are great. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the helping hands. This is the church of the loving heart. Together, with mind, hands, and heart, we care for the earth and for each other. Okay, who absconded with the lighter? Okay.
This is an abolition prayer by Reverend Jason Liddon. Please join me in a spirit of prayer. O God, we know there are hells that must be eradicated, hell that our faiths demand be abolished. Each time a family mourns a loved one gunned down by the police, hell is real. Each time a prisoner is stripped, searched during going to and from a visit, hell is real. Each time bail is set too high that freedom is impossible to find, hell is real. Each time someone spends $25 on a 15-minute phone call from prison, hell is real. Each time someone spends 23 hours in lockdown in a solitary cell, hell is real. Our ancestors teach us that punishment does not transform the soul after death. And yet, punishment culture permeates our world and creates hell after hell right here on our beautiful beloved earth. Hells may be built up all around us, but our faith teaches us that we can and must abolish each and every hell that people are living in. We do not pray for abolition, rather, abolition is the prayer. Thank you.
If you'll rise in body or spirit and join me in the unison affirmation. The words will be on the screen. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the sacred. Thus do we covenant with each other. Our opening hymn is Circle Around for Freedom. The words will be on the screen and in your printed order of service. And 155 in the gray hymn if you're so inclined to look at a book. But we still want to see your heads up, your faces. Oh. Thank you, Joy. It is that kind of day. Circle round for freedom,
Circle round for peace, for all of us in prison. Circle for release. Circle for the planet. Circle for each soul. For the children of our children. Keep the circle whole.
We can pick that one up a little bit too. Let's do the whole thing again. Ready?
Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned. Circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole.
Thank you, guys. Thank you to James Peck and Bob Jordan for helping out this morning with singing. We appreciate it. We have our story this morning is Homeland, My Father Dreams of Palestine by Hannah Mushabek, illustrated by Reem Madhu. And there you see the different photographs of the sketches of the photographs of the author's family. And she has dedicated this to the refugees around the world and all those displaced from their homelands, to my loving family and to my grandparents, thinking of you always. We wait in bed for our Father to come home from work. We know he's coming when we hear the coins jingle in his pockets as he walks up the stairs. Sometimes he whistles us to sleep. Sometimes he tells us stories. We like the stories best. There's a story about how he fed his neighbor Muhammad so many beans that he farted powerfully enough to lift off the ground. No way! And then there are stories about our homeland, a place we've never been. Every summer, my father visited his grandparents, Tita Maria and Cito Abu Michel, who lived in the old city of Jerusalem. The final day of one visit started with his favorite breakfast, kayak, which is kind of like a flat bagel. Tita Maria called through the window to a street vendor below. She dropped a basket on a rope, and up it came. Delicious bread, still warm. No matter how much food my father ate, Tita Maria always told him, "Eat more, Habibi." His Cito was a stern-looking, tarbush-wearing, oculus-puffing, mustachioed man. He was always busy with grown-up matters. But this bright morning, Cito announced that together the two of them would visit the family cafe, and that's grandfather. Walking through the streets of East Jerusalem, my father and his Cito stopped every few paces to greet people and to tell stories. And also, Abu Michel was called Al-Mukhtar, the head of the community, and he spoke many languages. They walked hand in hand through a bustling collection of colorful vendors. Men and women sold everything from olive oil soap with rose water and heaping bags of za'atar, which is a special spice blend, to gold jewelry and embroidered textiles. As they walked, they were serenaded by the sounds of the chanting of the muezzin's call to prayer, mixed with the ringing of church bells and the market vendors singing the praises of pickling cucumbers or prickly pears. They could hear the cheerful sounds of children practicing dabka dancing and the songs of Kulthum that blasted from radios on windowsills. But what fascinated my father most was the juice vendor, a short man. He carried a big tank filled with jalab, which is a special kind of juice. Wonderful to see you. Made with carob, and he traveled by foot from neighborhood to neighborhood. To announce his arrival, he played beautiful, intricate rhythms using brass cups and saucers. To his tedious horror, my father later practiced these same rhythms at home using pots and pans. Now a professional drummer, he shows me and my sister the Juice Man's rhythms by drumming them on our backs, like a musical massage. At the family cafe, my father was greeted quickly with one kiss on each cheek by Amo Mitri. He was then put to work cutting cucumbers, chopping parsley, and preparing plates of olives and pink pickled turnips. The cafe was a popular destination for great thinkers, poets, musicians, historians, and storytellers gathered to listen to the exchange of ideas at Al-Mukhtar's cafe. With a rare smile, Sita signaled to my father to follow him down a hallway. He unlocked the iron gate and led him to a lush, sunlit garden. Hundreds of homing pigeons rustled in their wooden cages in the shade of a proud olive tree. The next moment, he released all the pigeons and skillfully guided them into a circle in the sky, with the help of only a black piece of cloth tied to the end of a long stick. With surprise and delight, my father asked, "Won't they fly away?" And Sita shook his head slowly, the key swaying at his side. This is their home. That was the last day my father saw his grandfather, the last time he saw Palestine. Our eyes are heavy with sleep, but we want to hear more. Show us the key, we cry. My father produces the large rusted old key to our family's home in Jerusalem. We know the ending of the story is not a happy one. We know that we may never sit and watch The Juice Man by Jaffa Gate, but we whisper the hope of return as we turn out the light. And at night, we dream of our homeland. And there's the key and the photo. And this is a beautiful book. I always say, if you're not familiar with children's literature, you really need to be. There's a glossary in the back for all of the different terms, and there are actual pictures of the author's family on the last page, to whom she dedicates the book. So thank you for sharing that with me. And let's sing our children and youth out to their activity. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Karen?
So where was I? No, I told Susan I'd keep it short today. This is a short excerpt from a 1991 interview with Dr. Edward Said, who many of you probably know is an authority on the entire situation and always was, as he should be, recognized as the same. But this is a little bit more lighthearted moment, I thought. It's very short, if you'll indulge me. It's describing a taxi cab ride he took in New York City after having knee surgery. So the interviewer asked Edward, "There's a story you tell that I think is revealing. You had just had a knee operation and had gotten into a taxi cab in New York City, and you had an exchange with the driver." Dr. Said replied, "Oh, with the Israeli driver? Yes, he asked me who I was, recognized me or something. He said, 'I'm an Israeli.' I said, 'Fine, I'm a Palestinian.' There was a pause, and he said, 'I didn't serve. I refused to serve on the West Bank, and I'm here partly because of that reason.' Then he said, 'So we're not all bad.' He was very interested in testifying to me that not every Israeli could be stereotyped into the figure of the policeman with a club beating up a kid. Then he said something like, 'We can be friends, can't we?' And I said, 'Yes, of course. You're exactly the type of person I want to be friends with.' It was like a strange interplanetary encounter. I got out of the cab. It was a short ride. I was hobbling around with my bad leg. But it struck me in a certain sense, that it was a moment lost to the future. Nothing much could come of it, given the situation, given the fact that we're so itinerant. He was away, and I was away. And we just happened to encounter each other. But it left a sense of regret that there ought to be a way of making such meetings possible in a meaningful and lasting way. Thank you.
So join me in the spirit of prayer and meditation in whatever way is meaningful for you. And at the end of the prayer and after the silence, if you like, you can come forward to light a candle. We do this to mark a joy, to mark a concern, to memorialize someone, or just for people we're thinking about. So please feel free to do that after the silence and during the music. Source and Spirit of life, God of many names and beyond all naming, we gather in gratitude for life, for breath, for the strength, hope, and joy that we find in being together. At the same time, we mourn the loss, the violence, the senseless death in a region torn by war, and we mourn the loss of time and physical connection stolen by unjust imprisonment. May we be a community of strength for Nida and others like her, working together for the release of their beloveds, discerning what is ours to do as we resist the pull of powerlessness. May we hold our leaders accountable, not only praying that they see wisdom, but also using our hands, our minds, our hearts, and voices to bring it about. We carry those intentions mindfully into the silence. light this last candle, we hold in our hearts those who can't be with us today, and we hold in our hearts the people of Palestine.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so before I introduce Nida, I just wanted to give some background as to how this really came to be. So I had heard about the Holy Land Five from a friend of a friend who had studied under the son of Samuel Arian, who his case was in Florida, but it was very similar to the Holy Land Five. And there's like a shared connection there. And I would say he was a pretty devout Muslim, and he probably didn't know that much about Unitarian Universalism, but he really had an immense admiration for Unitarian Universalists just based on how much they advocated for the Holy Land Five and for Samuel Arian and for all political prisoners, whether it was showing up to court hearings or giving out food as a protest. And so, especially now, ever since what's been happening, well, the occupation has been happening forever, but ever since more recently with the genocide in Gaza, a lot of churches and stuff are finally kind of starting to reconcile and have to with that history really, and voting on divestment resolutions and deciding whether or not what role they want to play, whether or not they want to be on the right side of history or not. And so I wanted the Unitarian Universalists to be aware of that shared history with the Palestinians and with the Muslim community, and to be aware of that Unitarian Universalism has always been like a religion of an activist kind of oriented, social justice oriented religion, and so I wanted people here to be aware of just that history for Unitarian Universalists in advocating for Palestine during the early 2000s and just advocating against Islamophobia in general. And I want people to remember that, with the Action of Immediate Witness that was passed, now going into, as different churches are now directed to sign the anti-apartheid pledge, so that hopefully we can also do that. And the Holy Land Five is an important case, and I just encourage all of you to talk with Nida afterwards and educate yourselves about the case and tell your family and friends. Watch the documentaries, read Miko Pelled's book, and just write letters to the Biden administration, write letters to the Holy Land Five to support them, and Nida AbuBaker is the daughter of the Holy Land Foundation's co-founder and CEO, Shukri AbuBaker, who is currently serving a 65-year sentence in federal prison for doing humanitarian aid work. Only 10 at the time, Nida witnessed the violent arrest of her father during the raid on her home in 2004. Just 4 years later, Nida took on her role in activism and public speaking when her father was found guilty and unjustly incarcerated. Nida has traveled around the country, speaking at various events and conferences, sharing her father's story and shedding light on the issues faced by the Palestinian people living under occupation and life as a daughter of a Palestinian political prisoner in America. Inspired by her father's dedication to help those in need, she aims to combat stereotypes and discrimination while also advocating for the rights of marginalized communities, and continues to advocate for those who have been unfairly persecuted to this day. Nida's courage and resilience in the face of adversity serves as an inspiration to many, showing that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope and the possibility of making a difference. And so I now want to introduce you to Nida AbuBaker.
Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you all for being here. Thank you for having me and for inviting me. It's really such a blessing to see all these beautiful faces here in support of my father and I, and in support of the Palestinian people. I wanted to actually wear something bright today because I'd say I have a pretty bright and bubbly personality, but I found myself wearing all black. And at the moment, it is the most appropriate, since Palestinians are at a constant state of mourning, with our people being killed every day for the last 75 years. More so for the last 8 months. So it doesn't feel right for me to wear anything bright. My light has been dimmed because we have witnessed a genocide unfold right at the palm of our hands. We have watched about 40,000 people get murdered, and the world has yet done anything about it. My father's mission was to help children of the world suffering in the midst of this chaos. My father is Shukri AbuBaker, the founder and CEO of the Holy Land Foundation, and the Holy Land Foundation was the largest Muslim-owned charity and helped people all over the world, but their crime was helping the children of Palestine. You see, what a lot of people don't know is my father was inspired by his own daughter, Nida. Nida was born in 1987, around the time of the Intifada, when the Palestinians were protesting the occupation, or life under occupation. My father was sitting in the hospital room, thinking of ways to give Palestinian children the same care my sister got. He was watching the news when he saw the images of innocent children with amputated legs or dying in the street, and he asked, what makes my daughter any different than those kids? And he also asked, how can I make their lives better? What can I do to give those kids the same life my daughter has? So with the birth of my sister Nida came the birth of the Holy Land Foundation. This man who was once named the father of the orphans, this man who dedicated his life to humanity, is now sitting in one of the most violent and deadliest prisons in the USA, serving 65 years for his humanitarian aid work. And you know, if you ask my father if he regrets anything, he'd say the only thing he regrets is not being able to keep his promise to the innocent children of Gaza. He'd say he'd do it all over again, knowing his fate. He would say he'd do it all over again if he could help just one more child survive genocide. It has been 15 years since his unjust incarceration, and during these 15 years, so much has happened. He had to mourn the death of his daughter, the inspiration behind the Holy Land Foundation, alone in a prison cell. 15 long years, and I have been speaking on this for 15 years now, but unfortunately my childhood was taken away from me at 10 years old. At just 10 years old, in 2004, dozens of FBI agents raided my home and pointed guns at our heads. I witnessed something that is a daily occurrence in Palestine, but on U.S. soil. We live in a world where humanitarian aid has been criminalized and Palestinians are constantly dehumanized. But I will not allow the word Palestinian mean that I am less than. My race and ethnicity is not your racial slur. In fact, being Palestinian is such an honor. I am proud to be a Palestinian. I am proud to be a Palestinian, and I am proud to be a Palestinian. The day I began speaking for my father was when I was 15 years old, in the middle of the courtroom, the day of his guilty verdict. I heard the judge say, guilty, guilty, guilty. And at that moment, I stood up and I yelled at the judge in true Palestinian form. I'm going to stand up for myself and my father. I yelled at him and I told him that my father is not a criminal. All he did was help the children all over the world, and this is how you repay him? My father is not an animal, and you cannot lock him up in a cage. The judge quickly wanted to silence me. He wanted to arrest me. Till this day, there have been attempts to silence me by intimidating my father in prison. They try to silence us because they know that we have a strong voice, because they know we speak the truth. And let me tell you, I will not let them kill my voice. I will not allow oppressors to suppress my father's voice. I will make sure his voice is heard beyond those prison walls. And I will continue to stand up for the liberation of my people and stand up for the liberation of our political prisoners, because our political prisoners are the compass of our struggle. And for this reason, I will be reading poetry written by my father. It's asking if I'd like to unmute the microphone. Okay, sorry. I will be reading poetry written by my father. Poetry written as a form of resistance from behind the lifeless walls of prison. To move you to honor those who have been martyred behind bars, to honor innocent lives taken away from us, murdered in cold blood, martyred under an Israeli missile. To move you and shake your bones, to stand with justice, to stand with Palestine, because standing with Palestine is standing with humanity and for humanity. The first poem is called What They Don't See. My reflection did not lie, this mirror. A messenger and I stand before the truth. Time is my ally, for my foes will not parade my bones just yet or ever. Day by day, I melt into the infinite past, but my spirit grows burning in my enemy's eyes. Humbly, I studied my face. The messenger spoke the truth. My enemy had gone blind, and I can see future and past. And that was the first poem. The next poem, and it's one of my favorite poems, it's called Stomach That. Babies glow in white, mothers mourn blackish. Men chase after horse feet of grass, incompassionate to let innocence serve as meat for a rapacious war, improper that families become funerals while hungering for crumbs of bread. Give them hope, offer help. End the agony, feed them first. That's what a thriving democracy would do. Let them know we care. We're human too. Airdrop the good news. Feed their flat bellies with flour and rice and cheese and sesame cookies for the lovely kids. Let the tarnished feast first. Let them bite, chew, slurp, swallow, and savor the moment and count their blessings. Help them focus on the next big thing. Airdrop nutritions, airdrop munitions, bombs, smart and dumb, whatever may end the suffering. And make us look like saints. It's more humane to blow up Gazans on a full stomach. It's how civilized power does it. Yeah. His poetry is absolutely amazing, and I am just in awe every time I read them, and I read them like so many times. And if you would like to read more, he has a blog, notesfromshukri.wordpress.com. And there's actually one more poem I'd like to read, if that's okay. Okay. So this one, my father wrote in his prison cell, and I think it eloquently depicts my father's unwavering resilience behind locked prison bars. And to me, it's sort of like symbolizing, thinking of freedom when you're not free. It's called rebuttal. I said I was born alive and free. They said we were not looking. I said I won't perish willingly. They said we'll have to wait and see. I said I had a big dream. They said now you have a bigger us. Picture the torture, I murmured. You're neither alive nor free, they said. You're a baffled buffalo in the last native frontier, no longer sacred or green. I am my forefathers, old, unfell. I outbreathe your chokehold, standing. I am a seed with heart. I recast ashen orchards, your torch, into rainforests with a million species of color. Alive, free, invincible, alive, free, in, and before I could close, a bang on the door slapped my eyes open. Making rounds, a keen guard wanted to make sure that I was still alive and did not perish in the deep of some rhetoric midnight dream. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nida. We're so honored to have you here and to hear your message. And we'll be gathering in the social hall. We encourage you to join us, and we'll talk with Nida more about what we can do, In closing, we're going to sing We'll Build a Land. The words will be on the screen. You can use the book if you want. It's 121, or they're in the printed order. Words all over the place. I'm going to ask James and Bob to help me again.
We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come, build a land where still our family, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where we bring the good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we'll give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. Come, build a land where sisters and family, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll be a land building up ancient cities, raising up devastations from old, restoring ruins of generations. Oh, we'll build a land of people so bold. Come, build a land where all is one family, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever praises resound from spirits once faint and once weak. We're like ghosts of righteousness, stand her people. Oh, come build the land, my people we seek. Come build a land where all is one family, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
Quickly, before the closing readings, there are two things I forgot to announce. First of all, our minister is the Reverend Barbara Gerald. She is currently on vacation and study leave. She will be back on July 28th, which is Artist Sunday, which is a service that we have every year where every element of the service is some kind of artistic performance, whether it's poetry or prose or song or dance, or we've had magicians, we've had jugglers, we've had a kind of a little bit of everything. It's a celebration of the artists among us, and there's also a visual art show that will be down the hall. So we encourage you to mark your calendars. This is a poem that I heard during General Assembly last week. It is by a Puerto Rican poet, Aurora Levens Morales. Last night I dreamed 10,000 grandmothers from the 1,200 corners of the earth walked out into the gap, one breath deep between the bullet and the flesh, between the bomb and the family. They told me we cannot wait for governments. There are no peacekeepers boarding planes. There are no leaders who dare to say every life is precious, so it will have to be us. They said we will cup our hands around each heart. We will sing the earth's song, the song of water, a song so beautiful that vengeance will turn to weeping, the mourners will embrace, and grief replace every impulse toward harm. 10,000 is not enough, they said, and so we have sent this dream like a flock of doves into the sleep of the world. Wake up, put on your shoes. You who are hearing this, I am bringing bandages and a bag of scented guavas from my trees. I think I remember the tune. Meet me at the corner. Let's go. Thank you, and let's go to the social hall.
Sometimes late under the moon, I think I'm breathing. Then I pray you'll take me soon, 'cause I'm here for a reason.
Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down.
Get me down.
So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around because
All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, us children will play. One day